consistent.
Just like this, right there. Two fingers.
Because I know you're yelling at me.
I know.
Before. Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast exploring Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. Mm-hmm. My name is Joe Thorne. I am the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
I'm consistent. This is it.
Now. Two right there, like this.
The width of two fingers.
The width, like, just like that.
But your two fingers are like four of my little tiny baby fingers.
No, it's
you got
about
man
three.
fingers.
It's probably about three.
It's only three?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've got like little tiny.
Yeah, they're pretty small.
Children's
but you
hands.
Just get,
Okay.
I just need you to be up on the mic consistently.
Get on the mic.
Because sometimes you're like.
The only time I'm doing that is when I'm talking loud. When I'm talking loud, I move away from the mic.
Yeah, then you got to come back.
Yeah, I gotta come back. I always come back.
Come back.
Yeah, don't call it a comeback. So, did you hear?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, there's so much going on.
Yeah. This morning, yeah.
What's this morning?
Well, no, you sent me something. I have not had a chance to look at it.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. Yeah, James McDonald's.
I thought that's what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, his they foreclosed on his mansion.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's sad news, but it's not like relevant or big of a deal. No, J.I. Packer died. Did you see that?
I did see that.
On Friday.
Did see that. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
J.I. Packer. So, I mean, pretty much if you're a listener to Doc and Devo, you know who J.I. Packer is.
Yeah, and so that's not to be that kind of leaves you as the next oldest theologian out there, the longest living theologian, right?
The oldest living theologian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not good theologian necessarily.
I never said good.
Yeah.
I just said theologian.
Yeah. Well, listen, J.I. Packer was in his 90s. I think he was 93.
Wow, what a faithful guy.
Everybody I know at least likes Packer a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like they all benefit from his reading, but pretty much
at least, and you can respect the individual.
Yeah,
right.
As the individual, godly man,
exactly. As a godly man, stayed firm, held the line.
Yep.
Right, held the line of inerrancy, among other things. Right, like he.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was constantly writing. I believe on an old school typewriter.
Yeah. Yep.
But constantly writing, constantly ministering, all the way to the end. And
when I lived in British Columbia, I had considered Regent because I thought, Packer.
You ain't getting into Regent though.
First of all, I did get into Regent.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did online.
And Regent online,
which is actually called Carry.
Okay. No, man, Packer is legit. And one of the things I liked about Packer is he was always very, he seemed to be very concerned in a positive way that theology would give life to piety.
Yeah,
right? Probably his most famous book is Knowing God, which everybody should read. If you're not a Packer guy, pick up his book, Knowing God. And some people find it dry. I didn't, but some people find it dry. Just, you know what? Get it. And if you haven't read it before, get it and just take like a chapter a week or a month. Like just take your time, get through it because it really is good. Some great stuff in there. Just thank you, Lord, for J.I. Packer.
Yes.
And I'm glad that he is... Well, it falls kind of in line with what we're talking about today because Packer is right now not soul sleeping.
Soul sleeping. He's soul sleeping.
No, he's not soul sleeping.
What?
No.
So
he's chilling with the Lord now. He's in the presence of God. He's not soul sleeping.
Yeah. Speaking of chilling, before we get into this, I tried calling you a few times last night.
First of all, I know, and I was busy.
I can't. You did not answer me.
Okay, here's what happened. All right, so I was hanging out with my new friends, the Hooses.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, you're hanging out with Andrew.
Andrew and Ali, and their kids, and their like 8 cats and their dog and all the 30 chickens.
Yeah, Did Andrew go all about the chickens?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was.
Listen, I'm impressed. I'm not bored at all. I think very interesting.
Oh man, it's boring to me.
I wouldn't take Andrew for granted like you do. Like I'm more conscientious about this sort of thing. So no, I got the full tour of their farm.
Okay, Andrew tried calling me last night. I didn't answer him.
Yeah, no, I honestly.
Then he tried calling Michelle.
You called, and then I answered, and then I knew you'd call again, but I didn't hear it. I don't know what we were doing, and then I was like, oh dang.
So anyways, I hope you had a great time.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun, except all I wanted to do was talk about how awesome their CG is, how great and funny Jimmy is. And I'm like, really? Guys, it's all about Jimmy? Okay, fine. All right, I'm going to peace out then.
They do love Redeemer, though. Yeah. I will say that. Great to have them around.
They're awesome people. And
they're going to leave us, I know it.
No way.
Because they live so far out there.
Oh, what are they going to do? We're going to start a church in a chicken coop? There ain't nothing out there.
Knowing Andrew, yes.
What I told them was that at the end of the night, I said, man, just all joking aside, because we're always obviously joking.
Yeah.
I said, you are very, I consider, what did I say? Something like, I'm grateful for you and the gift that you are to Jimmy, because like to have, Jimmy and I've talked about this a lot, like to have a church family where you can be yourself and have real friendships is extremely valuable.
Yeah, it's very valuable.
So I just said that, thank you for being, faithful members.
You're still number
friends.
one. You're still number one.
What I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying you're number one.
Oh, you're talking to me. I thought you were saying what I was saying to them.
No. You're still number one.
Okay. I believe you.
Good. So look, you're so number one.
Mm-hmm.
I rushed from my 8 o'clock, Zoom call, in my slippers to get here as fast as I could.
I'm so number one. You were late for our meeting. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That doesn't actually work. I'm so important. You were late. Okay. Yeah, I feel very important.
All right, cool. Well, Joe, we're going to be looking at 2 more chapters left, bro.
Yeah, man.
2 more.
Then we're going to go chapter by chapter through the purpose-driven life. It's going to be awesome.
All right, so we're at 1689, chapter 31,
Paragraph 1.
All right. The bodies of men after death return to dust and see corruption, but their souls, which neither die nor sleep, having an immortal subsistence, immediately return to God who gave them. The souls of the righteous, being then made perfect in holiness, are received into paradise, where they are with Christ, and behold the face of God in light and glory, waiting for the full redemption of their bodies, and the souls of the wicked are cast into hell, where they remain in torment and utter darkness, reserved to the judgment of the great day. Besides these 2 places, for souls separated from their bodies, the scripture acknowledgeth none.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's a lot. There's a lot packed in there. We're going to hit on 3 or 4 different concepts that we think are most critical to what's being laid out here. One of the things that's obvious is that when you die, you're still alive. Whether you are
still conscious,
yeah, right. It's like you don't have physical life, but you are still a conscious living being. When it says the bodies of men after death return to dust and see corruption, but their souls, which neither die nor sleep, having an immortal subsistence, immediately return to God who gave them. So, like, obviously, the word that we use today, or the phrase that we use today, is soul sleep. Ain't no soul sleep.
No soul sleep. Okay, so for those that maybe didn't grow up in the church, right?
Okay.
Soul sleep.
Yeah.
Like Steve McCoy. What is soul sleep?
Yeah, it is an unconscious existence after death. So the idea is when you die, and people make all kinds of. We're not going to get into why they make these arguments, because I think
it's like you go on pause.
Yeah. It's like sleep mode. Like your computer goes into sleep mode, right? And then so it's still a computer and it's still CPU. It's got all this potential, but it ain't doing anything during sleep mode. It's got to get woken up.
There's nothing going on inside it. It has no idea of what's going on around it.
Right. Yeah. So it's you're I don't know if you want to say unconscious or whatever, but yeah, until the resurrection, you're on pause, like you said. You're just chilling. You're not aware of what's going on, and who believes in soul sleep? Like what's a church or a group, or obviously
Jehovah's
James McDonald.
No,
he
doesn't.
I don't know.
Stop. Okay. Today, some examples of groups: Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Seventh Day Adventists,
SDAs.
SDAs believe in it.
Did you know? I didn't know this.
Oh, what's this question for me? Here we go.
Did you know that one of the reformers seems to have bought into the concept of soul sleep? Who is your guess? I want multiple choice, or you just want like random throw a dart kind of a thing?
Well, what's on the line?
What do you mean what's on the line? If you get it right?
Yeah. Are we betting?
Well, we're already betting on the other thing. I asked Jimmy to use a drop. I was like, this is a great drop it would be used. And Jimmy said, it sounds like in the background of this popular song, they're saying a bad word. And I'm like, they're not saying the bad word. And he's like, it sounds like they're saying the bad word. So that ruined, I couldn't use the drop. So we bet a cigar on that, right? Okay. So we bet a cigar on that. And so Steve's going to be the judge.
Yep.
So he doesn't know how to spell.
So that's that one.
Yeah.
So
now we're going to do this one?
For this one.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. I will bet you a cigar that you do not get it.
All right.
And then you will bet a cigar. And so I'll do multiple choice.
No. I can get it based on what you just said.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because you said famous reformer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's narrows it down because you said famous. It wasn't like, not saying they're obscure.
Five.
Yeah. And one of them.
You sure you don't want souls? You sure don't want multiple choice? All right, go for it.
Martin Luther.
Nope.
All right, I owe you a cigar.
No,
Dang it.
It's Martin Luther.
Oh!
Did you Google it? You Googled it.
No.
Yeah, you Googled it. You totally Googled it.
One of them had a history, so that's why I went to school.
One of them had a history?
Well, yeah, his upbringing and everything, it would have led to this notion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever.
What?
Now I don't have a cigar.
Well, it's just process of elimination at that point.
Yeah.
And you thought I couldn't get into region.
No, what I was... I was going to give you multiple choice and leave out Luther. I was hoping you'd say, that's good multiple choice. I was going to Calvin, Zwingli, Bucer. I was going to name some. All right, anyway.
That feels so good.
Yeah, and listen, it's just a couple of things that Luther said. He may not have, but a lot of people are arguing that it looks like he bought into that. Like, whatever. That doesn't make Luther a loser. It just means that he might have been wrong there, just like he was on the Lord's Supper. Anyway. So, okay. No soul sleep. And another thing that's important here is that when we die, yes, we go to God, but it says that the body suffers decay and returns to dust, which means that the body ultimately sort of disappears.
Yeah, we knew about that from the beginning, right? In Genesis, we knew about that. That the body decays and returns to dust. I don't know, Genesis 3:19.
Oh.
By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you are taken, for you are dust,
right,
and to dust you shall return. So yeah, it's nothing, so we've known this, like we know this, that it's a finite, it's
the body.
The body is finite, and it will decay, it will be gone.
So, in fact, we have like a whole mantle of dust in my house, a mantle, like a dust display at my house of all of the dead people in my family. They've all been burned up.
So it wasn't just that you guys aren't dusting?
No. It's that, we're not doing that either, but we've got.
So the mantle of dust has dust?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's dust on
dust
top
squared?
of the dust. The not only did these people return to dust, the dust returns to them as well. So we got lots of my house. Like I see dead people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like there is. We got like a whole row. So yeah, I don't know why that's what my family decided to do. But anyway, I bring that up because some Christians are really against cremation.
Yeah.
I'm only against cremation because the word for the dust is cremains. Not remains, but cremains, and it's a little too cheesy for me. But some people don't like it because they're like, "Hey, man, if you're burning up the body, then like the sort of the superstitious answer, or
the medieval
is like
thought pattern.
You can't get resurrected then because your body turns into dust." Everybody's body turns into dust after a while, after a long enough while. What if you get eaten by a bear? There's nothing. You get eaten by wild boars. There's nothing left. Mm-hmm. But the more biblical argument would be like, well, that's not what we see in Scripture. Is that's more of a Viking thing than a biblical thing. People are buried in tombs and whatnot. Yeah. But in the end, we all do ultimately return to dust, and I'm not overly concerned when people want to be cremated.
And so, neither am I. I'm for it.
You're for it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
Why would you want?
Because I want to be.
Oh, because you're preparing for hell anyways. Like I'm going to be burning in hell forever. So why don't we just
is that what
ease into it?
Just ease into it now.
It's like the wading into the Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
So the body returns right to dust,
yep.
And the soul of man immediately returns to God. And I mean that's a great notion, right? We're all going to be with God.
Everybody,
everybody
who dies. Guess what? Next stop,
God.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, it sounds great. It sounds wonderful. We make songs about it. We write in our journal about it.
Yeah, it could be bad though.
How so?
because the condition of our souls is ultimately what determines what our relationship with God is like. And so the forgiven soul, the soul that is reconciled to God through Jesus Christ, the pardoned soul, that's the soul that returns to God in a state of grace. Outside of that, you return to God in a state of guilt in which you get punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, so the point that the confession is making here is that the body is temporal, or as Jimmy likes to say, temporal.
Temporal,
because it sounds like sushi. That's why he likes
temporal.
Shrimp temporal. And but the soul is not. The soul is immortal, and so upon death, there's no sleep. It doesn't get destroyed, doesn't get burned up, and there's no pause button. It goes immediately to God in a state of grace in which it experiences what we'll call paradise here in just a minute, or guilt in which it experiences condemnation. So, Jimmy, what does it say about this idea of believers going to paradise?
Yeah. The 69 says, the souls of the righteous being then made perfect in holiness are received into paradise where they are with Christ and behold the face of God in light and glory, waiting for the full redemption of their bodies.
You know, we should have had a bunch of songs ready that use the word paradise. There's some good songs. Paradise City by Guns N' Roses.
I know, that's the one that stuck out in my head.
But then there's there's a bunch of them, though. Like, This Must Be Paradise. There's some 80s songs. I think paradise was a more popular word in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2020, the word paradise has basically been removed from the lexicon.
Oh, yeah.
Because 2020 is just
a dumpster fire.
It's all purgatory. Yeah, is what it is. Paradise has given way to purgatory in 2020. All right, so where do we get this idea that there is a paradise awaiting for the believers immediately upon death?
Well, Luke 23:43, and Jesus said to him, truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. So he's on the cross, right?
Yep.
And he's got the thief next to him, and he's talking to him.
Yeah, this guy that got converted.
Yeah. And he goes, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise.
That's pretty soon.
Yeah, that's pretty immediate.
Maybe there is soul sleep, but it's like soul nap, and it's only like 15 minutes.
Soul slumber?
No, that's too long.
That's too long.
That's
Slumber's
like
long. Yeah.
So like
soul power.
You're
nap?
trying to look for an S. You're trying to like soul nap, but soul siesta. Yeah,
that's a good 2 hours. That's just.
Oh, is that 2 hours?
A siesta? Yeah. That's a time after lunch,
right?
Before going back to work.
Okay,
and then dinner.
I've only because I see guys taking a siesta in the neighborhood, but it's only like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it's when?
After lunch.
You see,
but it's not 2 hours.
Yeah, some of us, might go good 40, 45 hour, 2 hours, just close the door.
Here's what I like about your language, Jimmy, is that you because like English is a mess. It's just a total mess. It's a train wreck of a language. It's no good. It's garbage. All right. But you take something like siesta, which is to relax, to rest, to nap, and then you have fiesta, which is an excited party and celebration. Both are positive, both sound the same, but they are different. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats on Spanish. I wish you spoke more of it. Okay, so, I also think about Paul's thoughts on death in Philippians chapter 1, verses 21 to 23. For to me to live is Christ and to die is gain. If I am to live in the flesh, that means fruitful labor for me. Yet which I shall choose, I cannot tell. I am hard pressed between the two. My desire is to depart and be with Christ, for that is far better. Right? Paul says to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord.
Yeah.
So you've got Jesus talking to the thief on the cross saying, oh yeah, we're going. Like, I am
Get
yours.
ready.
You are my,
There's a train coming.
This is horrible right now. Like, this is the worst possible existence. On the cross, dying right now as a condemned, guilty man. You're about to enter into paradise with me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a stark, beautiful contrast because that's all of us.
Yeah.
Dead man on the cross, guilty. And Jesus
deserving the just punishment. Yep.
Right? But like, no, we're going.
Yep.
We're going. This must be paradise. And Paul's saying the same thing. Like, that's what I want, but obviously there is there's more for me to do here under the will of God. So one of the things that I think is interesting is that there is conscious life after our physical death, that we until the resurrection. So we're awake, we're aware, the believers are in paradise, and yet we don't have bodies. And so it's kind of a weird thing because we don't know life we don't know life apart from having physical existence. And being fully, completely human seems to involve physical existence, because we know that that's going to be eternal state, physical existence, before the fall, physical existence. So there's this intermediate state, they call it, when we are alive but dead, right? Like when we are absent from the body, present with the Lord, this intermediate state. People call that heaven, but that's only part of the concept of heaven. It's weird. It's incomplete. And it doesn't sound to most, especially the younger Christians that I talk to, they're not super excited about it because we're made for grass between our toes and wind in our hair, if you have it, right? We're made for creation, and so to be removed from it and to be alive is limiting. And while that's true, you don't hear any bummer talk from Jesus or the thief on the cross or Paul. Like, okay, yes, it's incomplete because it's not the end, but it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be better than what we have now, because we're going to be in the presence of the Lord. Sins
basking, it says, in his glory, right? In the light of his, and behold the face of God in light and glory. Yeah.
I mean, this is good. So it's not forever.
It's not cut and dry,
Right, no. Yeah. And it's not super easy. It's mysterious there. In fact, there are some theologians who have argued, like, well, since you have to have a body, you get a temporal body in heaven until the resurrection.
I've heard that.
Really? That's just the worst. I just don't make it up. Hey, guy, stop making stuff up.
Yeah.
Try to draw the conclusion from the Bible. We can get wrong stuff. We can get stuff wrong, but making it up is kind of weird. All right. What about
but what about
the people go to the no-no zone?
No-no zone?
No. HE double hockey stick.
69 says, and the souls of the wicked are cast into hell, where they remain in torment and utter darkness, reserved to the judgment of the great day. Yeah. I mean, there's a parable of the rich man and Lazarus, right? In
Just
Luke
parable,
16.
dude. Just parable.
Parable.
Yes,
But,
parable.
It still points to a truth.
I don't know, man.
They're still
You're saying it's a
what?
Worldly.
Wait, what?
A worldly story with a heavenly truth.
Sure.
Heavenly story with a world. I don't know how it goes. That's what is the parable?
So the poor it reads like this: the poor man died and was carried by the angel.
No, what's the parable? Like, what's the big picture, so people know? Maybe they don't know the story of the rich man.
Maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just about like judgment and essentially, I guess, knowing, right? Like being forewarned, right? Of what. That this is not it. This is not all that there is, but there is more.
Which is good, right? Because you've got this wealthy dude who has everything and is an unbelieving, unrighteous guy.
Yeah.
And then you got poor old Lazarus who has nothing, but he knows the Lord.
And that he has everything.
But would you say? But in this life, it looks one way, but then you're about to read. Go ahead.
Yep. The poor man died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried, and in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham far off and Lazarus at his side.
Okay, so we're not going into the parable deep, but that does seem to give us. I mean, Jesus. It's a parable, so at least we believe it's a parable. Some people say it's not a parable because he's giving them proper names. So there's debate about whether or not this is a parable. Either way, while you don't want to try to make every single thing in a parable corresponding to a truth or a reality, it's not an allegory. But certainly Jesus is teaching truth, like you said, and this basic idea, like upon death, there is either a place of blessing, Abraham's bosom, or a place of curses. And as you read this parable, those two realities are maintained. And it's not so great for the rich man.
Yeah, being in torment.
Yeah, man, he's asking just like a drop of water to be put on his tongue. He's just in misery because of his sins.
Peter, and at least go tell them.
Yeah, right? Like just go and warn them, and they're like, they ain't gonna listen. Peter touches on this as well in 2 Peter 2:9. Then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to keep the unrighteous under punishment until the day of judgment. So even there are people that want to kind of parse this out and say, well, hell technically is in the future. Right now, there is a place of judgment, but it's not technically hell. And we don't know a whole lot about heaven and hell. We only know a little bit. But what we do know is that there's a place of blessing for those who know the Lord and a place of punishment for those who do not.
And then the other place.
What's
well, you know.
Well, no. What's the other? There's no other place.
Purgatory.
Yeah,
it's the island in Lost.
Is it? That's right. If I wanted to
spoiler alert! If I just spoiled that all for you now, you're late to the party.
Yeah, you late. That's too bad. I don't get mad at people that spoil stuff years after the
10
fact.
years later, 12 years later.
So the confession actually says, besides these two places, for souls separated from their bodies, the Scripture acknowledgeth none. These are the only two places. Yep. There ain't no purgatory. So,
no door number 3.
That's right. And that's, when we think about purgatory, we go, Catholic. Hey, Catholics, with your dumb purgatory, knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Protestants.
There's some Protestants.
Some Bible church guys, they kind of push a concept of purgatory.
What's the concept? How could you have a concept of purgatory that's not purgatory?
The argument goes something like this. All right, so before the resurrection of Jesus,
yes,
when people died, they went to, they oversimplify Sheol. And basically they go to the place of the dead.
I have heard this. Yep. Okay.
And it's like a big holding tank.
Yep.
And on one side, the righteous are chilling, and on the other side, the wicked are chilling. But they're waiting. They're down there waiting for Jesus to come and get them out of there and take them to heaven. Which the Bible actually doesn't give us a picture of that at all, in my estimation. And because the concept seems to be, even though the Old Testament doesn't go into detail at all, well, neither does the New Testament go into detail, but there definitely is a lot of mystery here.
Yeah.
But the picture is the righteous go to the presence of the Lord, and it's paradise, and the wicked go to a place that's awful, and it's a place of punishment. Otherwise, it just talks about people going to death or the grave in general terminology.
Yeah. So I think the thing that we can all agree on, and at least need to take from this, Joe, right, is we're all going to die.
Yes, we are.
We're all going to die.
Yep. Everybody's...
No escaping it.
No.
And all of us, immediately, our souls will go to return to God.
Right. And that... So let's ask the question, so what? Like, okay, so you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And you're gonna stand before God. So what does that mean for us?
Well, I think some of the old timers, the old time saying is make sure you're right with God. Make right with God.
Yeah. I mean people sort of like poo-poo that today, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, nice scare tactic, but no, like the reality is you don't just return to dust. See, people would say like, hey, listen, we're all going to die. You're just going to return to dust. So make the most of every moment you have now. Well, that's true, and that's good.
Yeah. YOLO.
You only live once in this world, right? So, yeah, that's fine. This ride is going to come to an end, so don't waste the time that you have on it. But so we affirm that. But the reason that we affirm that is because, A, these days are given to you by God, so you're responsible for what he's given you. Your calling is to glorify God, and on top of all of that, after this run, you enter reality. Like now eternity is coming. And so we, if anybody has a reason to make the most of the days that we have here, it should be Orthodox, old school Christians, Baptists. You look at guys like, even some of like these entrepreneurs and all these guys that are really smart and they're making the most of their lives and they're getting it done. But a lot of them just operate out of a basic stoicism, and they're not thinking about anything beyond this life and discipline, and a lot of it's really, really good. But we have this life lived in light of eternity because of the God who made us for this life and for eternity. So I like what you said, man, because Christians who are at peace with God need the reminder, and those who are not Christian, those who are not reconciled to God, need the warning that you're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook/Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, drdevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast, or hit up the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. Fresh pot every Monday and Thursday. Blog post on Wednesdays. Later.